Day 1 of my Great Glen Way hike from Fort William to Gairlochie began with a sunny morning. The River Lochie and views of Ben Nevis were on either side as I walked on. A game of shinty was in full swing, with views of Fort William in the distance. Today's route is flat, with the Caledonian Canal to my left. Neptune's Staircase, a loch comprised of 8 lochs, soon came into view. The still waters of the Caledonian Canal reflected the sky like a mirror, which was occasionally shattered by boats sailing past. Moy Swing Bridge, the only known cast-iron swing bridge in existence in the UK, passed me by. Crossing over an overflow where the canal's waters bled into River Lochie signalled the end of today's hike. Today's adventure ended at Gairlochie. I had walked 13 miles and 28,000 steps. Day 2 of my Great Glen Way hike from Gairlochie to the Great Glen Hostel began with a beautiful sunny cool morning. Crossing over the canal, the path heads into a forested area along the western shore of Loch Lochie. Occasional clearings provided beautiful views of the loch with mountains beyond. The path follows the shoreline closely for much of this section. There are sandy beaches with mountains beyond, a perfect spot to take a break. At Clunes, the path is mainly forested, leading to a choice of the high or low route. I took the high route for the beautiful views. The views on this route are simply mesmerising. I arrived at Lagan Lochs, where Loch Lochie meets the Caledonian Canal once again, with the amazing floating pub. With the boats and pub behind, the forest path lead me to the Great Glen Hostel, after walking 16 miles and 36,000 steps. Day 3 of my Great Glen Way hike began with another bright sunny morning. A diversion took the path on the west side of Loch Oich. The forest path went uphill for 1 mile with views of the loch filtering through the trees. Descending gave views of mountains and wind turbines in the distance. Crossing Invergarry Bridge, a steep path led into a dense conifer forest. The dense forest track was peaceful. The route is beautiful and well marked despite being a diversion. Upon reaching the Bridge of Oich, the dense forest was left behind. River Oich flowed calmly underneath the bridge. Leaving the bridge, the path continues beside the Caledonian Canal. Passing the old lockkeeper's cottage, with weary feet I carried onwards. Eventually Fort Augustus, its lock gates and Loch Ness came into view. Morag's Lodge Hostel welcomed me after 14 miles and 32,000 steps. Day 4 of my Great Glen Way hike from Fort Augustus to the Lochside Hostel. The tall conifer trees surrounded me on the path, leaving Morag's Lodge. The challenging high route provided stunning views of Loch Ness and was worth the climb. This path isn't just a hike. It is an adventure with natural beauty blending seamlessly everywhere. The serene waters of Loch Ness glistened below, amid the amazing panoramic views. I passed through Invermoriston village, with its beautiful waterfall and bridges. A visit to the Viewcatcher via the high route is a certain must. The wilderness opened up to then close upon me through a dense conifer forest. I finally arrived at the Lochside Hostel at Altsai after 14.7 miles and 34,000 steps. Day 5 of my Great Glen Way hike from the Lochside Hostel to Drumnadrochit. As the sun peeked through the trees, it felt like walking in a dream. The trail was alive with the sound of nature, birds chirping, leaves rustling, and the occasional mini waterfall. The path was a mix of forest, trails, and open landscapes, each step revealing something more beautiful than the last. With rolling hills, the never-ending charm of the Scottish Highlands surrounded me. Loch Ness sparkled like Lake Mithrim in the first age of the sun. Every hiker I met had a story, adding to the rich tapestry of this incredible journey. Soon I entered a calm, solemn forest with trees as tall as the mallan trees. The Loch Ness Backpackers Lodge greeted me after 12 miles and 27,000 steps. Day 6 of my Great Glen Way hike. Leaving the friendly Loch Ness Backpackers Lodge, I crossed over River Enric. The path followed the busy A82 road for a brief while, and then up a forest path. The lush green forest shielded me from the road, with the crisp scent of grass and leaves. The ruins of Urquhart Castle could be seen in the distance, with Loch Ness resting at its feet. Much of this route is through dense forest, with a few streams running across the path. Upon reaching Aberystwyth Forest Trust, I took a break to rest my weary feet. Continuing on, I took a slight detour at the Aberystwyth Forest sign to get to my accommodation. Passing by Lochlade, I arrived at the camping pod Haven, my home for the night. The camping pod welcomed me after 11 miles and 24,000 steps. Day 7 of my Great Glen Way hike, the final stretch to Inverness. Bidding farewell to the camping pod Haven, I headed back to the trail, through the gate into the forest with short thin trees, on past Abriachan Eco Campsite Cafe, with Scotland's version of Tom Bombadil and Goldberry, who provide great cake, soup and tea. With the sun shining bright, the path to Inverness is a vibrant tapestry of nature's finest, with old ruins thrown in. The crunch of the trail beneath my boots, with the warm sun behind clouds, felt good. Eventually Inverness came into sight, giving me the feeling of sorrow and happiness, because this adventure I loved is coming to an end. Inverness Castle marked the end, after 7 great days of good weather. I retired to my hotel after 15 miles and 34,000 steps.